Watching Morning Live. Now, the age of collaborations is upon us. Long gone are the days where things used to operate with lines and restrictions and rules. Well, gone are the days of them and us. This day and age is about fusion, about making things up to create new formulas, about sharing platforms, about changing known methods to more beneficial ones. Well, Jazz at Jag is one such project. The new event, which will see the first edition take place today, will bring jazz musicians to the Art Gallery for a series of performances every first Sunday of the month. Hopefully, fine art audiences will get into the jazz appreciation culture and vice versa. Well, joining us to tell us more about Jazz at Jag, we're joined by co-organiser Palesa Shongwe, as well as one of the curators at JAG Tara Webe. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Hi. Good morning.
Palesa, take us back to that conversation that you had with your co-organiser, Lucky, about what did he say and how did you buy into this concept?
I think the thing that stands out from that early conversation was we were thinking, first the space was very interesting to us. We had gone and we saw the William Kentridge show.
Yeah, I saw that audio.
And it was really awesome. It was in the sculpture garden. And we were sitting there with the people there, and there was something about that space. There was the way the light was falling. It was just really beautiful. It was a Sunday afternoon. So we thought, hey, it would be really nice to have some jazz here since we both like jazz. But then I think after a while, after we started to talk about it a bit more, we started to reflect on the fact that, like, I think in the last year or so, there have been some spaces coming up, like the Orbit, like the African Freedom Station, for jazz musicians, and there's been quite a rich coming up and a blossoming, and we thought a space like this might be interesting exactly for its kind of intersection of like fine art and history and music. So this is what I think kind of was the inception of it.
Tara, what made JAG buy into this concept?
I mean, obviously, Palesa and I are friends as well. So I've been kind of involved with this project also from when we met. We started talking about things we could do in the space immediately. And this year, it's the centenary year for the Joburg Art Gallery's building. So I thought, what better and more significant a time to try and involve the gallery in new projects and new ways of going forward. How can we bring new people into the space and allow them to interact with the art in a different way?
How do you make sure that the people that are visiting pay as much attention to the art as well as the jazz?
Well, I think that's going to be something we have to figure out tonight. But the collection that's up at the moment is the foundation collection of the Joburg Art Gallery. So I think it's really about creating an atmosphere, a backdrop. It really brings through that history. And then partnered with that, we also have the new acquisition. So it's this kind of meeting of the old and new that's on at the gallery at the moment, and I think it's a perfect time for this collaboration.
But let's talk about your first performer is Ntutuzo Makatini. Why him?
Wow. He's really an interesting... He's an interesting performer, I think, for us because he's quite an intuitive piano player. He's somebody who talks a lot about like ancestors. He talks a lot about like memory and history. He talks a lot about heritage. And I mean, I think first of all, he's just like a strong performer, and his group is really strong. So people are gonna have like just a generally good time. But I think in particular, having him in the space, having him and his music kind of in those hallways and resonate in that space is going to be very interesting, like what Tara is saying, kind of a coming together of the old and the new. He's somebody who's deeply, deeply interested in how music speaks to or kind of invokes a past or transports us into kind of like these spaces of like heritage and so on. So I think when we first got in touch with him, he was excited for the space. He was excited for how the space itself has so much history and so much energy, and he was very interested in what kind of conversation he could have, the music could have with the art. Okay,
let's talk about tickets, times. What time do you start? How do people get a hold of the tickets? And for people who may not know where JAG is.
We started, the doors open at 3 because we'd like people to really come into the space and move through it. Like Tara said, there's a great collection there. It's the same collection that was there 100 years ago. So that's pretty incredible, but there's also really contemporary works that are out there. So we'd like people to come in and check the space out. The lay of things is there's going to be a DJ playing jazz on wax, on vinyl. And when they get in, the show will start promptly at 4:30. So there'll be plenty of time. There'll be some food and drink on sale. You pay at the door.
Yeah.
So there aren't any pre-sales as yet.
All right.
So,
Just quickly before I let you guys go, how do we access JAG? I mean, for people who might not know, we mustn't assume that everyone knows how to get around Johannesburg.
Okay, so Johannesburg Art Gallery is actually fairly easy to find. It's very close to Park Station. It's in the city centre and it's right next to Joburg Park. So if you go down King George Street, you're going to see it. It's right on your left. You can't miss it.
All right, guys, thank you so much. This sounds like it's going to be an exciting thing.
Yeah.
thanks for having us here.
Palesa Shongwe is the co-organiser of the Jazz at Jag project, which will bring some of the country's finest jazz musicians to the Joburg Art Gallery every first Sunday of the month. Joining her this morning is one of the curators at JAG Tara Webe, who is hoping to see the attendees enjoy the art on the walls just as much as they're going to enjoy the sounds of Duduzo Makatini. Remember, he's a Standard Bank young artist for jazz for this year, so we'll see you. We won't take a break. In fact, let's give you sports, and then if you have nothing to do this afternoon, please go out there and check out JAG this afternoon. They start at around 3 o'clock.